And now you can see the Backseat Mogul Show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv. It's tiki time at Harbor Cove Cafe. Dive into the tropical paradise at the end of Spinnaker Drive in Ventura with vibrant drinks, delicious bites, award-winning fish and chips, and more. Now featuring extended hours and happy hour, Fridays from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Harbor Cove Cafe, the hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker Drive. Visit harborcovecafe.net for more information.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
Live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about show business. Caught off a little guard there because our sound was skipping in and out. Kind of weird, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That was very weird. Johnny D sitting over there across from me.
Morning.
Put your head down a little bit. Just nod down a little bit. I'm looking at your flag thing sparkle. It almost looks like it's a green screen kind of thing going on over there.
Cool.
It's kind of funny. So today we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about a movie we saw. We're going to talk about the news. And I do want to explain why we're here in the dark. We had a flood here at Rough Edge Studios, actually the House of Magic where the Rough Edge Studios is located. And it didn't get the studio. The studio was spared any problem whatsoever, but it got the rest of the building rather bad. They say there were 2,100 gallons of water that leaked out overnight. And it doused the magic shop down below, damaged probably tens of thousands of dollars of merchandise, destroyed the roof, destroyed the carpet, almost destroyed me because I was trying to be helpful. And I was going to go back behind the magic counter and take the really expensive items off the shelves that hadn't been wet yet and put them somewhere dry. Well, little did I know that there were electric cords surrounding the entire area of that pool of water I was standing in. Thankfully, I survived.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
sorry, Shelley.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, it was nuts, and so that's why it was a little dark here today. We could light it up, but you probably can hear the fans in the background. Let's quiet for a second, see if you can hear the fans. Yeah, you hear that humming in the background? That's the fans.
Not only can I hear the fans, I can feel the vibration through this.
It's sense around.
Yeah.
You never sense around?
Yeah.
I would go to see a movie just because it was in Sensurround. Now you have D-Box or whatever they call it, which is way better than Sensurround. But back then, I remember at the Ventura Theater, they were playing the movie Earthquake in Sensurround, and it was a re-release of it with the Sensurround. And what Sensurround did is they took out a whole bunch of seats in the back, on the right and the left in the back rows, and they put these giant speakers. They were huge. They were like room-sized speakers. And whenever they needed the sense round, those speakers would rumble and the building would actually shake. It was a lot of fun. Now, like I said, though, you go to D-Box and, they probably should re-release Earthquake with D-Box because you'd be feeling the actual shaking. Josh and Andrea, my son and his wife, went to see Novocaine last night. Oh, and they were trying to decide whether they should buy D-Box seats. And I told Andrea, I said, I don't think it's necessary for that. And she says, but I want to feel like I'm getting beat up. And I said, well, then go ahead and get him. But remember, unlike Jack Quaid, you feel pain. So I don't know if they went or not or what they thought about it, but everybody seems very excited about that movie.
I'm excited about it.
I wonder what the box office predictions are for it. I don't think it was as big as I hoped it would be, but let's take a real quick here and see if they what they say. Here's the headline: horrendously slow weekend, too close to call with Novocaine and Mickey 17 at each other. So it's not a very good weekend, unfortunately. And that is too bad because I think Jack Quaid should be a star. I think he's got the charisma and the chops in order to be a star.
Well, just from the trailer, I think there's one or two trailers that are out that I've seen. And yeah, I definitely want to see this movie.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about going Monday, so maybe we'll go.
Oh,
Monday.
that'd be nice.
Yeah, might go on Monday. So we'll see how that all goes. But anyway, I just wanted to explain why we're sitting here in the dark for a second, and then we're going to talk about Mickey 17.
Yeah,
Johnny and I went to see Mickey 17 on Monday. I don't know. Let me ask you this, John. Going in, did you have any idea what that movie was about?
No,
because usually I tell John we're going to go see the movies, and we're going to go to the movies and see this, and he goes, "Okay." So you had no idea what it was about?
Yeah, I was pretty much okay until the opening scene. The opening scene caught me.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, it's I did too. It's one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie of this year. It's original, which means that's why it's not doing well at the box office. It's got a great cast. I'm going to pull up some photos here for you folks. Just a second here. And it's a big science fiction story, but it's told on multiple layers.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about science fiction. It's about crazy politicians. It's about love. It's about racism. It's got all these little things built into it that are hidden in the story, but and the power of being an individual is very much addressed in this as well. Robert Pattinson is the star.
He's fantastic in that role.
I think it's funny that Pattinson was one of those people who they made a lot of fun of him because he did the Twilight movies.
And I was one of those people.
And he made a lot of money doing those Twilight movies. So, he's the one who has the last laugh. But I'm sorry, trying to download these pictures, and I don't have any idea where they went. So never mind.
They're in the ether.
I saw him in Water for Elephants. And that was the first time I went, wow, this guy is an actor. He's not just a pretty face for the teen vampire set. He can really act. And I saw that further in The Lighthouse and The Batman. And, he's just really good. And this film is by the director. I'm not going to try to say his name. It's not that difficult, but I always screw it up and sound stupid. But should I try to say it, John?
Sure.
I was afraid you'd say that. Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho.
That's pretty good. I think pretty good. He is a director of Parasite, among other movies as well. Parasite, not a horror movie, but he's kind of famous for directing horror movies. This is a big, sprawling science fiction movie based on a book, and Pattinson stars as Mickey. And the reason the title is called Mickey 17 is because when the movie opens, he's on his 17th reprinting of his body. Because what Mickey has done is he owes a low-level scumbag criminal a lot of money. Being a low-level criminal scumbag himself, there's no way he can pay this guy back, and the guy's going to kill him. So he decides to take a job on a rocket ship, a spaceship, to go to another planet and start a new colony for Earth, which he does with this nuts politician leading the crew. He's far more than a politician by the time they get to that planet, but that's another story. So he escapes, but the only job that he can think of to take is being an expendable. And an expendable means that you're sent there to get killed, to protect others in certain senses. We'll talk about that. And then they reprint your body from the moment you die. So they've answered the problem with, a lot of movies, they clone people and all of a sudden they're exactly who they were before. It doesn't work that way. You clone somebody, you get a baby. You got to raise it. In this film, though, they've got to manage. So they reprint him from the moment he dies. So he keeps all of his memories, he keeps all of his emotions, and he moves on. So he's done that 17 times by the time we catch up with him in this. And 18 time is coming around. And that's when things start to get a little weird. I loved everything about this movie. I loved its originality. I loved the cast. Again, Pattinson was amazing. Stephen Yeun, is that his name? He was amazing. Toni Collette, Mark Ruffalo, all just fun to spend that time with. The special effects were mind-blowing. Oh, yeah. They were really good. And plus the little character design was really cool too. When they get to the planet, they find this indigenous species there that they have to interact with. And that's the little creatures that I'm talking about. And they're not all little creatures either. It was just a really, really well-made, well-told film that I'm looking forward to seeing again. I'd like to see it again.
At the risk of spoiling, spoiler alert, the way Mickey 17 was just lying there accepting his fate.
That's what he did. He knew it. That was his job.
Every time and they went through several, as Mickey 17, the original Mickey, he dies, but they didn't, I don't think they really showed that, but they kept reprinting him, like you were saying.
Well, they did a couple in the early portion of the film. Then they did a whole slew of them at once, almost like a montage.
Yeah.
And then they got caught up to Mickey 17.
Yeah. And he's outside doing a spacewalk, trying to fix something. And they say, okay, now take your glove off.
Well, they sent him out to fix the, some cluster of instrumentation or something, and he's out there and he's all, well, it's not broken, and they tell him, no, that's not really why you're out there. You're really out there to test the effects of radiation poisoning on a human being. And he goes, okay. And that's what he says. Okay, we need you to get this virus and see how it affects the humans. Okay, because he knows that's his job.
And when he's lying there, when he fell through that crevice, what's it?
Ice cavern.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
How he's waiting for his end. Yeah, okay. It's just, you got to watch this movie. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil it for you. And it is a very fun movie. And Robert Pattinson, yes, I was one of those people in the beginning because of the Twilight. What I didn't realize that he was in at least one, possibly two, or maybe even more of the Harry Potter movies.
I didn't know that either.
And I don't think it was a big part. I think it was not so much background, but one of the characters. I don't remember which house he was from. I just remember them saying that he was in Harry Potter. And
he was in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and I don't know about any other ones for that, but I was unaware of that.
And also, when I heard
he played Cedric Diggory,
when I heard that he was going to be Batman, it's like, oh no, well, I was wrong.
Yeah, you were. He nailed it.
And then I did not see Water for Elephants. I'm going to have to see it.
Well, yeah, because it's got Christoph Waltz, so you have to see just because Christoph Waltz was in it.
But Robert Pattinson and Mickey 17.
There's a collection of posters that I just pulled up, and it's funny because each one shows a different death that he's suffering in the movies, and they have different taglines. The first one says, "This job hurts." The next one is, "This job is smothering." "This job is toxic." "This job is poison." "This job is isolating." "This job bites." "This job is agony." "This job is nasty." "This job sucks." But he escapes from the criminal who's looking to collect his money for him, at least for a little bit. Anyway, I don't want to give any more away about Mickey 17. I just cannot recommend it enough. It's been my favorite time at the movies this year. Surprised me at every turn. I was impressed by its scope. $120 million it cost to make, which is a lot of money for Mr. Ho there, but I don't think any movie has cost close to that at this point. But you see every single cent on the screen. Every single penny is on that screen. It's $120, $120 million well spent. Now, it's not doing great at the box office. I think it still has to open up in some worldwide markets, which is where he does much better. Parasite, for example, grossed about close to 100 million here in the United States and almost 300 million overseas. So, yeah, that's where the money's going to be for this picture as well.
Which is a shame. More and more people in this country need to go see this movie. It is really good. And
it's a movie you want to see at a theater. Yeah. You can see it on the television and whatever, but if you see it in the theater, I'm telling you, these the special effects and the scenery and the scopes and everything is just impressive as hell. And if you don't see that on a big screen, then you're going to miss that out. Let's see what Mickey 17 is looking at right now. Yeah, see, it's only 26 million here in the United States, 28 million actually overseas so far, for a total of 5,400. It's got a long 54 million. It's got a long way to catch up to its 120 million, which because it's got to do what? Double.
Yeah.
So it's got to hit 240. Now I don't know where it hasn't opened yet. Maybe it hasn't opened in China. And if that's the case, China's the biggest market now. So we'll see. But that's where it's sitting today. And I'm seriously, John and I both think you guys should go out and see Mickey 17. It's just terrific on every level.
Because of the way this movie ended, I hope they don't do a sequel.
They're not with this kind of money at the box office. They won't. And I don't know if there's a sequel to the book. I'm curious now. Andrea, again, had read the book and loved the book, and she didn't realize that the movie was out. She goes, "Oh, that's already out." So I imagine they'll go see that too. It's just really good. I love the way Pattinson plays one of the characters, kind of a meek, okay guy.
Yeah.
And then when he comes back, is reprinted as another character. He's like, yeah, pissed. Everybody got to do it. That's what, and he separates them out very nicely. And
each time he's reprinted, like you said, he retains the memory of the previous printings.
Right.
And then he gets to make new memories for the next.
And that was kind of interesting as well, because when he dies, he does start over right where he left off. But there's never been any real change in his personality until the most recent one. And that opened some doors that they didn't have a chance to explore. But I thought, what's happening? Why is this personality getting darker? Well, you know why. He's died 18 times and been reprinted. But I'd like to have seen that go somewhere too. But you can't do everything in that film. And there's so much in it that sometimes it's a little overwhelming. I will admit there was a part towards the end, 3/4 through or so, where it got kind of draggy. And I lost my attention for a second, but it came back soon enough, and it wasn't a big deal. Like I said, I can't wait to see it again.
The editing on this was really good, because you got Robert Pattinson basically playing a meaner Robert Pattinson in the same scene,
same bed together.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's impressive. That's come a long way since the days of Star Trek, where they, film half the scene on one side and then put the film back and shoot him on the other side. But, it's the Star Trek thing whenever they had a double. Nowadays they can shake hands and other things that you don't want to think about. Anyway, that's Mickey 17 now in theaters. Go see it soon. Let's give it some more box office money, because it deserves it.
Yeah.
Speaking of box office money, don't forget to visit our friend Jeffrey Genet at his GoFundMe page. The full title of the Fundme page is Help Us Finish Our Adventure Comedy Film First Run. Now, First Run, as you know, is the film that John and I both have small parts in. Terrific young cast who just had me laughing out loud which is bad when you're standing on set and they're doing their thing and you're trying to contain a laugh. Anyway, the film, I believe, is finished shooting. We'll have to get Jeff in here again. I keep talking about that, but we haven't done it yet. We'll see if we can get Jeff in when I get back from vacation and find out where the film is at. But I think it's all done shooting, which means they're in post-production now. Doing the editing and whatever else they have to do. I'll have to ask Jeff who he's got to do a score. I wonder who's going to write the score for that. But he's got friends everywhere, so I'm sure he'll figure that out. But anyway, please donate. Just scan that QR code right there. If you're listening to the audio version of this show, it's GoFundMe and Jeff Genet, Genet, or help us finish our adventure comedy film First Run.
The next project that he decides to do, I hope there's at least one dead body in it. I want to be that dead body.
I want you to be that dead body too.
No, you just want me dead.
All right, so let's see what else there is in the news today. You know what? Yeah, we're going to do this first. Star Trek. That'd be a good name. Starship Troopers is getting a reboot. Did you like the original film, John, the original Starship?
No. Well, from the comedic standpoint, yeah.
From the comedic standpoint.
Well, I mean, I chuckled with.
You mean it was unintentionally funny?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
In my opinion, yeah.
Okay.
But I will admit, is it Michael Ironside?
Yes.
Yeah, he was great in
It's
that.
Michael Ironside. So was Carrie Russell. She was good in it too.
Oh yeah, and everybody was good. Was really good in this movie. I don't know, something about the movie. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the sequel.
You know what I thought about Starship?
Or a reboot.
Starship Troopers. It's harder to say than I thought. It was a World War II movie in the style. Wait, let me get this straight. It's a science fiction movie in the style of a World War II movie starring John Wayne. Because I know you probably disagree, but
I know what you're saying.
John Wayne movies were kind of goofy. Those old war movies were kind of goofy. They were so one-sided and so, superhero macho guy. They kind of were goofy. Starship Troopers is kind of goofy. And maybe it's supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be. Because I wasn't a big fan of the first film either. Now, I haven't seen it since it was in theaters. So it's been a long, long time since I've seen it. Great director, and we said great cast. But the good news about the remake, the reboot, is that Neil Blomkamp is going to be behind it. He's going to write and direct it. He's the guy who did District 9 and Chappie. So he's kind of I don't want to say a new voice out there, but a fresh voice at least that has shown that he's got some chops already. So that gives me some hope for a reboot of Starship Troopers. Let's go ahead.
Was Chappie the one that I believe it takes place in South Africa, or takes place?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. And District 9 was as well. I think both of those.
Oh, I'm thinking District 9. I may not have. Chappie was a robot.
That's correct.
I don't think I saw that movie. But District 9, yeah, I do remember that because that was about basically an internment camp for aliens from outer space.
Yes, yeah. And I think that Chappie was also shot there because I think that's where he's from. But both of them, very good movies. And we're going to get to the point now. We're talking about Hollywood and remakes and how they've run out of ideas. Don't ever say that. They don't run out of ideas. I promise you, there's plenty of fresh ideas rolling around Hollywood. The problem is people don't go see it. Look at Mickey 17, struggling at the box office, starkly original film, and it, nobody cares. So that's why we're getting a reboot of Starship Troopers. That's why we're getting a remake of Single White Female. That's the next thing on the list here. Jenna Ortega and Taylor Russell, and that's why, because people will go back to what they know was popular. If you don't go see fresh original content, they're going to keep remaking things that you will go see. That's why the Marvel movies keep getting pumped out, because people will go see the Marvel movies. If you want original content, go to the movies and see original content. Go see something like Mickey 17. But otherwise, you're going to keep getting these remakes. And I really have no issue with remakes. Remake to your heart's content. Try to make them better if you can. But at the same time, let's get some original stuff out there and make some money. And sometimes it pays off. I always go back to Jordan Peele and his first movie. Cost $5 million to make, gross $200 million at the box office. It can happen. So anyway, another remake of Single White Female. The original star Jennifer Jason Leigh and Bridget Fonda. This one is Jenna Ortega and Taylor Russell. So we will see what happens with that. The big TV news yesterday was Ted Lasso coming back for season 4 on Apple TV. There has been a lot of talk about this ever since season 3 ended. People had not had enough of Ted Lasso. Have you ever seen any episodes of Ted Lasso?
No.
You should probably watch that. It is just a terrific show.
I just might do that next week.
You will have access to many, many streaming stations next week. Yeah, John's staying at the house taking care of our dogs while we're in Hawaii.
I got to get some stay awake drugs so I can binge watch everything.
You know what? This off calendar here, folks. Shelly got me some. I love the Propels. Propels are my. I love those. Drink them probably 3 a day. She found some that have caffeine now. And so I was drinking those in the morning instead of a Coke just to change things up. And I noticed that the bottle said it had 120 mgs, I'm assuming milligrams, of caffeine in a bottle. And I thought, I wonder how much a Coke has. How much caffeine do you think a Coke has?
I already know. So
we already discussed this. 34. So it's almost 4 times the caffeine in a Coke. The Propel has almost 4 times the caffeine that's in a Coke.
And that's
crazy.
That's Coke Zero, isn't it? Because that's what you normally drink.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Cokes all have that. Unless they're like the Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper has more caffeine than Coca-Cola does, but the Diet Dr. Pepper or Dr. Pepper Zero has no caffeine. It's very interesting.
It is interesting.
So anyway, Ted Lasso coming back. I'm sure that they paid Jason a ton of money to come back and reprise his role as Ted. I'm looking forward to it also with a little trepidation because I don't want them to ruin their legacy. You put out a 4th season and it sucks. Everybody goes, they should have never done a 4th season. That's the fear, which also brings to mind that in September, this is Spinal Tap 2 will be released. Same story. Don't screw it up. You got to get it right. And I will tell you, the full title gives me hope because the full title is Spinal Tap 2: The End Continues. It's a perfect Spinal Tap title.
Which is going to be quite interesting. Oh God, please let it be the original cast of the band.
Have you not paid any attention? Of course, it's that.
Well, no, what
Johnny,
okay.
wait, no, stop. They are a band.
Mhm.
They're not playing characters. They are the characters. Of course, it's going to be the same guys and the same filmmaker.
The only new person should be the drummer.
Well, there's only 3 of them, so something happened to the drummer already.
Yeah, because the drummer is always mysteriously.
Of course, it's going to be. And there's clips already you can see from it, and it looks hilarious. I mean, I think it's Derek has a chain that goes from his nostrils down to his navel and back up to his nostrils. I mean, that's just entertaining stuff right there. If you haven't seen the first Spinal Tap, by the way, check it out. It was released at the pinnacle of heavy metal's popularity, and this is just the dumbest band in the history of mankind, and you will laugh and laugh. And if you watch carefully, you'll see scenes, because the whole thing was improv. You'll see scenes where somebody says something and another cast member has to turn away because he's laughing. It's classic stuff. It really is.
I saw, it was like about 2 weeks ago, I saw a little reel of Lenny and Squiggy and the Squigtones.
Yeah.
Singing, and they introduced the band. And when they got to Christopher Guest, because he was in the band, his name is Nigel Tufnell.
Oh, is that true?
In that band, and I'm going, oh, I hope there's some other members from that band. Well, there was, because of Lenny is.
That's right. So he's playing the same character.
Yeah,
that is funny.
But in the Lenny and Squiggy in this little short. Oh, I remember what it was. I think they were on. I think it was they were in an episode of American Bandstand.
Okay.
As Lenny and Squiggy.
That's funny.
And their band.
That is funny.
And
I did not know that.
So he wasn't playing the English rocker leader of the band. He was playing Lenny from Laverne and Shirley.
That's funny. I did not know that. That's a good catch. That's a good catch. It's probably everybody else knows it, but I just didn't. There is a teaser trailer available for Spinal Tap 2 on YouTube, so you can check it out there and see what's going on. In other remake news, because there's too much of it, apparently Prison Break is getting rebooted. It's going to star Emily Browning, Lucas Gage, and others. I never saw any of Prison Break. Did you see Prison Break? I know a lot of people really liked it.
That was the TV series.
Yes.
Yes. And yes, I got bored with it, but it was like watching the Eagles. I had to keep watching to find out, okay, they're going to get caught or are they not going to get caught? So it's going to be interesting. I'll watch it.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. Anything, anything's possible. Tracy Morgan has a new show being released on NBC. They're shooting the pilot now. Tracy Morgan, of course, is in it. It's Tina Fey and Robert Carlock and Sam Means, who is also a writer, have created it. You got me right there. If Tina Fey is involved, I'm paying attention to it. Daniel Radcliffe has also joined the cast recently. So Daniel Radcliffe, Tracy Morgan, and like I said, created from Tina Fey and Robert Carlock. More power to him. There's something fresh and original that'll probably fail. Mm-hmm. So he plays a former football player on a mission to rehabilitate his image. I can tell you this, Tracy Morgan will give a very loud performance.
Oh,
he always does.
Yeah, he has really bounced back from that accident.
That's absolutely true, because he was severely injured. Daniel Craig is returning to Narnia. I don't know if he's returning to Narnia, but apparently Greta Gerwig is directing it for Netflix, which is interesting. One of the names being bandied about for the new Bond films by Jeff Bezos is Greta Gerwig. Yeah, because the director of Barbie needs to do a James Bond movie. I told you. I told you. She's a great director. Do not get me wrong. She's not a Bond director. We'll leave it at that. All right, what else news we got here?
I really would have liked to have seen. God.
Me too. That'd have been awesome.
I just irritate myself.
Not as much as you irritate us.
I know it. Hateful Eight. Django.
Tarantino?
Yes, thank you. Quentin Tarantino. Oh my goodness. I really would have liked to have seen him direct a Bond movie.
Well, we almost had that chance.
Yeah.
He had that opportunity. He pitched it to Barbara Broccoli and she said no. It was interesting because Tarantino and Pierce Brosnan wanted to do a James Bond film in black and white that took place back in the 40s or 50s, I guess. And she said no because it broke the trajectory. And she's not wrong. It would have been nice to see a standalone film like that. And the funny thing is there was going to be a retelling of Casino Royale, which is the first Bond movie. Don't think it was the first Bond book though, but maybe. Anyway, they went on to do their version of Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, which was basically the reboot of the series with Bond returning, just in modern day as opposed to earlier day. So that was what happened there. If you go back to some of our old shows, we were really hard on Daniel Craig.
Yes.
And before he took the role. And then when we saw him in action, I was like, oh.
Well, the first time I remember seeing him, I probably saw him in other things, but that I remember seeing him in, I believe was called The Golden Compass.
Really?
Yeah.
That was years after Bond, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so. It might have been.
Yeah, 2007. It was.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't the first thing you saw him in.
But he was.
Casino Royale was 2006.
Yeah.
So,
but if you look at the 67 cast, which had a lot of James Bonds in it.
You don't look at that movie is not canon. You don't talk about that movie.
I know it. But when you say that he wanted to do a black and white version of Casino Royale, the first televised James Bond, which actually takes place in America, are with an American James Bond.
James Bond's American, Felix Leiter is British.
Right. And the bad guy in
this is what doing a showbiz show with John is like. You have to tell him who the people are. Bad guy. There's been bad guys in everything. Tell me what from.
Casino Royale.
Oh, Mad?
Yeah.
Mads.
What? The character's name?
Leroux.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Anyway, in the TV version, Peter Lorre played that.
Oh, that's
part.
right. Yeah. I have a disc somewhere at home, one of Casino Royale, and that episode is included on the disc, which is kind of cool.
And yes, Casino Royale apparently was the first Bond book.
Oh, it was. Okay.
It came out in 1953.
I have a box set of Bond books. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I was going to read all of the Bond books in order, and then we had the flood. Now it didn't damage the set, but I packed it up and I can't find it. So it's out there somewhere. It's like John's place.
Yeah, I was going to say you have a Warehouse 13 also.
It's in a box somewhere and I don't know where. And I really wish I could find it, so I'd go back. Yeah, Casino Royale. And the books. By the way, that was the other thing. I remember telling people that it's not like the book at all. And then I read the book and I go, oh man, it's like the book a lot. So even the scene with I don't know how to say that on the show. The tickler, let's just call it the tickler.
Yeah.
That's even in the book. Like, wow, I didn't expect that. All right, let's get this out of the way because it is time indeed for this. Is it as bad as they say it was? We'll find out now on the Backseat Mogul Show. Brought to you by Pele Utu, Reno's only traditional tiki bar. A kaleidoscope of colors and tropical charm with the undeniable allure of paradise and intoxicatingly delicious cocktails. Pele Utu. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. 1275 Stardust Street in Reno, Nevada. For more information, please visit pele-utu.bar.
Wait,
now they can hear you.
It was very soothing.
That's
music.
Kevin MacLeod does a lot of music for internet programs and things like that. We use him a lot here on Rough Edge Studios. He's the best in the business as far as that stuff continues. So, yeah, that's Pele Uto. I really wish I could be at Pele Uto right now, but I don't have that option. But if I did, I'd be sitting there drinking a Mai Tai. But as I said, we're here in Santa Paula, not in Reno, Nevada. All right, so today's Is It As Bad As They Say It is Skiptrace. Now, apparently Skiptrace has 3 different names. As you can see from this poster, Skiptrace is the main title. Missione Hong Kong is the second title. And yet a third title is Ju Di Toi. Nope. Ju Di Tao.
Ju Di Tao.
Oh, sorry, that's not the whole thing. Ju Di Tao Wang.
Du Di Chao Wang.
Ju Di Tao Wang.
Joel.
Who am I giving lessons in? I don't know. All right. So anyway, Skiptrace is a movie from 2016. It stars Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville, 2 of my favorite personalities. It was directed by Rennie Harlan, who directed Die Hard 2. The story is about a detective from Hong Kong, Jackie Chan, teaming up with an American gambler, Johnny Knoxville, to battle a notorious Chinese criminal who looks like something out of the anime artwork. He's real tall, thin, wears sunglasses, and carries a cane, so you get the idea of what kind of a criminal he is. The reviews have been pretty brutal for it. It's got a 38% on the Rotten Tomatoes score, 27% on the audience score for Rotten Tomatoes, 50% surprisingly on the Metacritic score. They're usually a lot tougher than the other scores, but 50% there, 5.6 on the IMDb score.
Out of
10.
Okay.
I think that they're all wrong because I think it's worse than that. And I love Rennie Harlan as a filmmaker. In fact, he was one of the filmmakers we were considering when we thought we were doing the Dirk Pitt movies. We thought Rennie Harlan would be perfect for this kind of thing. He did Die Hard 2. He did Adventures of Ford Fairlane, numerous big movies like that. He's kind of fallen out of favor since then. And I don't know how old Harley is these days. Rennie is these days. But the problem with Skiptrace is not the actors, because both Jackie Chan, who does what Jackie Chan does, and Johnny Knoxville, who doesn't, well, he's not doing his jackass stuff. He's playing a character, but he's got this certain roguish charm that always comes through. And so they're both fine. The problem is that the action sequences are dumb. They don't feel real. They feel kind of limp, for starters. They have things happen in them that, yeah, I know we see this in Jason Statham movies, and we see this especially in Jackie Chan movies, but they don't work here. They're just kind of dull. So I'm watching the movie thinking, well, is it ever going to improve? Is it ever going to get tighter? And it doesn't. It just kind of limps along to the conclusion. So I was really disappointed in it, being a fan of both of those people. I realize the movie is 9 years old, but there's movies that are older than 9 years old that managed to get that martial arts style down. So I would have to give it on the Boltometer, maybe a 25.
I don't remember seeing this movie.
Well, maybe you didn't. That's why you wouldn't remember it.
But I really enjoy Jackie Chan. I started watching a movie on one of the streaming channels, a Jackie Chan movie. It's about this guy who gets a horse. He takes the horse and the people that are after him. But it had subtitles. And a
lot of Jackie Chan movies do.
You're right.
You're too lazy to read subtitles. He turns the subtitles off at my house. I have a street in front of my house that's 45 miles an hour. When John's there taking care of the dogs, he turns off the subtitles because it bothers him so much. That's a you problem, buddy.
Oh, obviously so. There's been 3 subtitled movies that
Das Boot.
No, actually, I did not see that one.
I haven't seen it either. I know. I'm working on it. I have a DVD.
It would be interesting to see the original Oh, wait a minute. One of them had subtitles because dialogue was all in German. The other one was English language dialogue, and it was probably not superimposed. Yes, that's what it was.
Superimposed subtitles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you listen to it in English instead of reading the English.
So it was dubbed or it was
Dubbed. That was the word I was looking for.
okay.
That's my guess, because I can't see them. Okay, we're going to shoot it with you guys speaking German, and then we're going to shoot it with you guys speaking English.
No, that probably didn't happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, so what are these movies? Or should I not have asked that question?
No, Das Boot.
Oh, you're still talking about Das Boot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Das Boot was so popular and so well received that they did a dubbed version for American audiences. Yes, that's true. I would watch the original German version with the subtitles because I always prefer to hear the original actors' voices. There was one movie, and I wish I could remember what it was. It was a Korean horror movie, took place in a shopping mall. And I was watching it in the dub version. I want to make sure I get this straight. Maybe it wasn't the dub version. I was watching the Korean language version and reading the subtitles, and the subtitles weren't great. So I thought, I'm going to switch over to the dub version and watch that instead. And even with the subtitles, the dubbed version was so different than the subtitles that it made it a better movie. I was like, whoever wrote the dialogue for the dub version did a better job than original screenwriters, as far as I can tell, considering it was in Korean. But anyway, it was much funnier in the dubbed version than it was in the subtitle version. I have not seen Das Boot. So what 2 movies are you talking about then?
Actually, I think it's 3. 2 of them were did not star, but was directed by Mel Gibson. And that was Apocalypto, Passion of the Christ.
Jesus, really?
Yes. And then the other one, I believe the movie, I don't remember who directed it, but the movie was called Hero. And it was with, was it Jason Lee?
I don't think so, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it was
right there.
Jet Li.
And it was even though it had English subtitles, I quite enjoyed that movie, which really surprised me because I did not, when I went to the movies, because I saw it in the theater, I did not know it was going to be English subtitles.
Oh.
And it's like, you're sitting in your seat and it comes up and next thing you know, you're reading, but hearing it in whatever the Asian language is.
Probably Chinese for that, I would guess.
And, but I really got into it. There's only been, like I said, 3 times where I've actually enjoyed a subtitled movie.
Subtitling doesn't bother me at all. I'm going to take that back. It does bother me a little bit because your eyes are often taken off the screen, off the action, I should say, not the screen.
And that's exactly, I think that is really exactly why.
Well, also you have the problem where you're trying to read the subtitles and then you're all, what is the wind? And then it goes, it's too fast.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I haven't seen Das Boot, and I really need to. I understand it's one of the great World War II movies of all time. I even bought the DVD at a thrift store. I mean, $2 for Das Boot, the 2-disc set. Yeah, I'll take it. But I need to watch that very soon. Maybe I'll watch that in the plane over to Hawaii. That might be a good one. It's long. But how long is that movie? I want to say it's almost 3 hours, but I don't know that for sure. 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So it's pretty long.
How long is the plane flight?
6 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's a long trip.
Are you guys leaving out of LAX or Burbank?
LAX.
Okay.
LAX. We're staying downtown on Thursday night and getting up early on Friday and taking the plane to Kauai. Our timeshare is not ready until Saturday, but we got a hotel room. A very expensive hotel room, but what are you going to do?
You sleep on the beach.
You could actually, but the problem is, what does it do in Kauai more than anything else
Rain.
on the planet? Rain. Yeah.
But
there's
it's not a cold rain.
Well, when it's 3 a.m, and it's not a soft rain either.
So you pull some more sand over you.
Yeah. It's the rain is brutal there. It falls hard. There is literally a point on Kauai that is the wettest part of the world.
Wow.
Because it rains so often there. You can Google that and find out yourself, folks. It's that wet. But John's right. Most of the time, it's, oh no, it's raining. It's 80 degrees still. I'm okay. I can deal with this.
Let me ask you this question. What upcoming movie are you anxious to see?
Oh my God, there's so many. There's so many.
One
movies.
in particular.
Well, The Working Man, of course.
All right, we're close. We're close. I thought Working Man was already.
Nope, and it's right in the middle of my vacation.
Oh, okay.
They don't know it yet, but I'm going to the movies that day. So, see, that's what I mean. There's too many. There's a lot of great looking movies there.
But you're so close to where I'm going.
No, I'm not. I'm clear across the table from you.
Who's in Working Man?
Mr. Statham.
Exactly.
It's not coming out this year.
I didn't say this year. I said
upcoming.
I said upcoming.
Yes, they have greenlit Beekeeper 2. Of course they have, because Beekeeper was a low-cost movie that made tons of money. So that's what they're hoping with Working Man. They're hoping that Jason still has that kind of audience to pull in. And I got to tell you, based on that trailer, I think that they do.
Jason Statham movie, which is the one, because I don't think I've seen this movie, where he's at a gas station filling up his pickup truck. And I think his daughter's in the cab of the truck. And these guys start hassling him, harassing him. And he ends up, taking 2 or 3 of them down.
Was that Homestead?
Oh, it might have been. I don't think I saw that.
Homestead opened on my birthday. And my wife asked me, what do you want to do on your birthday? So, well, we're going to go see Jason. And we did go see Jason. Those of you who don't know, I'm the biggest Jason Statham fan in the world. He's they kept asking if he would ever play Bond, and he said, well, I text Barbara Broccoli every day. But I don't think that's going to happen. They did a poll, and I haven't researched this yet, so I don't know if this is true or not. But Bezos did a poll asking people who they wanted to be the next James Bond. And the number one answer was Henry Cavill, who's Superman. He would be a great James Bond. You know what number 2 was, though? Pierce Brosnan.
Wow.
Whoa, really?
He would definitely have to play an older.
You think so?
Yeah.
Would he? Why would he have to? CGI him. You're done.
Well, yeah, but.
Yeah, he's already said no. He says, no, that's got to go to a younger actor. There's no, even though that might be an interesting spinoff kind of thing, but we'll see. I still don't have any faith in Amazon and James Bond. I just don't.
Well, with Bezos is it Bezos or is it Amazon or both?
Well, it's the same thing.
He stepped down from the CEO, didn't he?
Maybe.
Well, where I'm going with this is with him being so heavily involved with it, I'm presuming maybe Quentin Tarantino will get his shot at directing a James Bond movie. It's possible,
if he wants to do it. I was trying to find out if Bezos still he stepped down as CEO and took over the role of executive chairman, which means he's still involved and probably still the kingpin. But he should have left the film with the Broccoli's. That's all I'm saying. Just should have done that. Every one of them of the Daniel Craig movies made nearly $1 billion. Why would you mess with that formula?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. But that's me. You got anything else, Johnny?
What you watching on TV?
All kinds of stuff. I did watch, we talked about this yesterday at lunch as well. The Running Point with Kate Hudson. Just another sports show. It's exactly the same as every other sports show. It's just the same as Ted Lasso or Ballers. The typical following a team, through ownership and the upper echelon, that kind of stuff. But it's different in the sense that it's Kate Hudson and it's entertaining. The cast is good all the way through. So I will give points to the Running Point. But what about you? I know that's why you asked, so I just throw it back.
Well, speaking of books, did you know that there's an author here in Ventura?
Bring that up.
That there's an author here in Ventura. His name is R. Scott Bolton. And if you go to Amazon.com, type in R. Scott Bolton for the search, and it's going to pull up a whole bunch of books. As I like to say, a plethora of books. And I'm going to suggest to Webster's Dictionary, add plethora as being a whole bunch.
See how that works.
But anyway, Scotty has written some fantastic books. My favorite is Dead Dick, which came out about 5 years ago.
Oh, at least.
The current release is Death and the Mogul. And soon to be released is Bowling Bag.
You're on it. You almost got it.
I know it. Bowling Bag in the Back Seat or something like that.
Bowling Bag in the Backseat is correct. It's my new book. It'll be out Tuesday. You can go to Amazon and order it on Tuesday. It is a story of a rideshare driver by the name of Chip. And Chip is wanted to be a rock and roll star, but that didn't work out for him. So he's moved from Los Angeles to Ventura, California, where he lives with his parents in a mobile home, and he drives rideshare. One day he finds a bowling bag that someone forgot in the back seat of his Plymouth Valiant. And it's what's inside the bowling bag that changes Chip's life. And it very much excites his sister, who's the very cunning sister of his.
I was going to say manipulator.
She's not a manipulator. She's just very smart and wise when it comes to, in an evil sort of way, when it comes to things that somebody else may not do. Cassie is her name, by the way. And they run into some interesting mob people, a hitman, and even maybe a serial killer. So that's Bowling Bag in the Back Seat. It is out Tuesday in paperback or Kindle. Please purchase it. Please read it. Please review it. And if you have a bad review, keep it to yourself. No, I'll take any review. It's only fair. If you don't like it, I want to know why.
That's like when we started the Friday Shot Day show. We had breweries, distilleries, and wineries sending us product for us to test and give our opinions on it. And as I always say, we gave an honest opinion. If we liked it, we said it. If we didn't like it, we said it.
That's true. That is true. And that's what I honestly want to, if you have a bad review, I'd like to know why. So you can write me there about that at rsb@rscottbolton.com.
But go to amazon.com, type in R. Scott Bolton books, and see what's there. As a matter of fact, just buy all of them.
You might as well. They're there, for your purchase thing.
Well,
purchase delight.
You've got them in series. You got the HB Fist series.
3 of those.
And then you've got the
Brace Heller series.
3
of those.
And then there's the standalone so far of
Dead Dick and
Thank you.
Neath, the Story of a Haunting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Neath. That was a bejeebies movie for me. Or not movie.
Scared the bejeebies out of you?
A good movie.
It would make a good movie. I think all of my books would make great movies. Steven Spielberg, are you listening? I know he listens every week, but he usually tunes out by now.
Hey, Stevie. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I know your wife only calls you that. My bad.
Yeah, all my chances went out the door thanks to you calling him Stevie.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spielberg.
And by the way, Hollywood Out of Original Ideas. Here's some you can do that are original ideas.
Yeah. Here's what I watch. I watched 2. You're talking about sports movies. I watched 2 this weekend.
Why were you in the mood for baseball movies? Now, we talked about that yesterday, but all of a sudden you decided to watch 2 baseball movies.
I was looking for something to watch on TV because it was late at night at my friend's house. And I saw that, I thought, nah. Oh, that looks interesting. Well, first, the title of it's called The Hill. And my first thought was it had something to do with Washington, D.C.
I would think so, too.
It doesn't. The Hill is it's a baseball movie, Little League baseball, where this kid who wears braces a la Tom Hanks' character or not Tom Hanks' character, but in Forrest Gump, where it shows Forrest Gump as a little kid. He's wearing these braces on. I'm having such a hard time talking.
Yes, we're all aware of this.
Yeah, I need more drugs. Oh, no, don't do drugs, kids. Send them to me. Anyway, he can't run because he's stiff-legged.
So he's got polio braces on.
Yeah, but they don't call it polio. I don't remember what they called it.
No, they couldn't because polio is trademarked, so they'd call it oleo.
Oh, that could be. No, not oleo. That's generic butter.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's spelled differently.
But it's pronounced the same. Anyway, so what he would do, he would pick up a rock. He had a stick, not a bat, but a stick. He would toss it up in the air and then he'd swing and he'd hit it. But he would hit it with such force, it traveled. It had a great arc and it traveled. And time marches on He tries out for the braces come off finally. He's still a little kid. Well, as he gets into high school, he gets on the baseball team, and he gets scouted, and it's about what happens to him from a kid all the way up to a grown up. And it's based on true story, which I was not aware of that either. It's called The Hill. The main star in it is Dennis Quaid. Not Dennis Quaid. Is it Dennis Quaid?
Looks like Dennis Quaid to me.
Oh, yeah, it is Dennis Quaid. I'm thinking, wait a minute, what's his first name? Oh, yeah, Dennis Quaid.
Too many Quaids. Jack Quaid, Dennis Quaid.
And the second one I watched, again, it's about a baseball team.
Oh, just a moment. There's also Scott Glenn and Bonnie Bedelia in The Hill.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So I just wanted to get that out there. So what's the second one?
oh, Randy Houser's in it also.
Okay.
That's Mrs. Houser's little boy. And Ricky Hill, a.k.a. The Hill, is played by Colin Ford.
And John knows this because it's up on the screen behind me now.
Exactly.
Okay, what's the second one?
The second one, and the title of it escapes me, but it's about based on true story, it's about a little league baseball team, hardball, not softball, little league baseball team, who in Fort Worth, Texas, ends up becoming. They go to the Little League World Series.
If this is the movie that you're talking about, somebody needs to come in here and slap you.
Keanu Reeves is not in this particular movie.
Where did you get that from?
Because
he's okay.
Yeah.
So you're off the hook on that because that movie's called Hardball.
Yeah.
All right, keep
No,
going.
it was not Hardball.
I'm trying to find it.
It's a true story about Little League World Series and how these kids make it all the way to the final game in the World Series.
You got to believe?
Yeah, that might be it.
The West Side Little League team
Is
who dedicated their season to the teammate's father battling cancer.
played by Luke Wilson.
There you go.
It was a very good movie. Again, based on true story.
I always have to tell people though, just because something's based on a true story doesn't mean it's a true story. You have to be very careful about confusing Hollywood movies based on true stories with true stories because they take liberties. They have to in order to make an interesting film. So I always just caution people that it might be based on a true story, doesn't mean it's a true story.
One of the things I liked about both these movies, at the end, you get to see the real people that the characters were based on. And I
always like that
cool.
too. I've seen a couple of movies where at the end they show the original person and then they tell what happened to them. You know, I like that too. But again, just be cautious. Don't go around telling people that this happened because it was in that movie, because it probably didn't happen.
True.
So I always caution people about that. And sometimes they get mad at me, but it's like, it's like the people who were, what was it? I can't remember the exact situation, but they were mad about something that happened in in an animated movie that didn't happen in real life. And I said, so you're okay with rabbits singing in Pocahontas, but the fact that they get this wrong in an animated movie, it just bothers me. It just go enjoy the movie. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to get in a high horse here and tell you that, this movie's better than that movie. Oh wait, that's what we do here. Sorry. I guess I am. Johnny, anything else?
Johnny. Oh yes.
I was afraid he was going to say that.
Heads up.
Oh yes. Finally got my red Shin ramen, red fiery spicy beef flavor. Johnny bought this and he said it's very good. So I'm going to give it a try probably today, as a matter of fact.
And might I say, heads up.
It's raining ramen. Thank you for those. I'll eat those. What?
You got to try this before we get off the air to see how you like it.
What?
These Ritz crackers.
What flavor are they?
Honey spicy honey.
Well, let's open them up and have one.
Okay. Well, catch. Heads up. Why am
throwing
I
things at the
aiming at the microphone? Jeez.
All right. So we have here the Ritz honey spice. We're going to
It's
try
either called honey and spice, or spicy honey.
All right.
But it's a flavor, one of the new flavors. Have you noticed they keep coming out with new flavored Oreos, which I need to ask you, what was that flavor that you shared with me?
That was Post Malone.
That was good.
It was very good. It was salted caramel.
Yeah.
With shortbread on one side. Here we go.
Now it takes a bit before you go, ooh. It kind of sneaks up on you. But I'm going to leave these with you so you can keep them here or take them home.
Well, I'll take them home because we will not be on until the first week of April because I will be in Hawaii till then. So I want to try to upload some shows so that you'll have something to watch. Mm-hmm. We'll have some vintage shows here to watch and to listen to on the audio podcast. But yeah, I won't be back for several weeks. So you're right. The heat does build very slowly. I don't get the honey at all though. Do you?
I think it's probably a little the sweetness that's in it, and it tastes good putting cheese on it. Out of the can.
It's not cheese.
I know. Not so.
I always think of that cheese whiz stuff when I went to a punk rock vegan restaurant here in Ventura. It's long gone, unfortunately, but I love that place. And they had a sandwich that was completely vegan. It was a Philly cheesesteak sandwich with dragon fruit instead of beef, and then cheese whiz. And you don't think of cheese whiz as being vegan, but it is, much like Oreos are. So anyway, it was, but I always think about that, how funny it was, because they said, hey, we're making food that's that's vegan food because we can, not because it's healthy for you, because you're still eating vegan, which is healthier eating. Nobody can deny that. But at the same time, they're putting cheese whiz on it.
Is that restaurant that's in that little strip mall just past High-Low Chinese restaurant?
It's behind where Big Lots was in Ventura.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's long gone.
Oh, okay. I remember that place. There was a little it was a little bar that they served sandwiches, hot dogs. I can't remember what that, but that's gone too.
No, well, maybe it was, but it was all vegan when I went there. And I only ate there twice, and both times I was amazed at what they could do to make something that you would eat regularly, like the Philly cheesesteak sandwich. Mm-hmm. Well, what is this going to taste like? And it was delicious. Did it taste like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich? Not really, but it had some of the same elements, but it was still really, really good.
Oh, speaking of Philly cheesesteak, I really miss Cheesesteak Republic.
I know. I don't think they're coming back. I haven't heard anything lately about them. That was a little place here in Ventura that opened up that had the best Philly cheesesteak sandwiches here in California, at least. Mm-hmm. That's not that I've had every single Philly cheesesteak here in California, of the ones I've tried. The funny thing is the best Philly cheesesteak sandwich I ever had, and I know I've talked, we're going to end it after this, I promise you, is in Kauai at a little place called Oasis on the Beach. Their Philly cheesesteak sandwich was wonderful. They no longer serve it. They're still there, but it's just not on the menu, which is unfortunate, but it is a great place. We were there, and you're sitting at the bar, and right to your outside the door is the ocean. And it's, as far as you can look, there's nothing but beach and ocean. And this guy next to us was complaining about his vodka. He got a Tito vodka, and it was, I can't remember if it was neat or just a shot, but it was $18. And he was complaining about that. He's going on and on. I can get a whole bottle of this at the store for $18. Yeah. And finally, Doug had enough. And Doug said, yeah, but can you get this with that? And he pointed out to the beach. And the guy's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, you're paying for the view, dude. It was like that. All right, folks. So we'll see you the first week of April. If you're interested, we're going to plug in some older shows here. So you can see how stupid we were back then compared to how stupid we are today. So come back and check. Not much has changed. No. And as usual, you'll see how many things we got wrong, because most of the stuff we tell you here on the show is incorrect, except for the fact that Mickey 17 is really good and Bowling Bag in the Backseat comes out on Tuesday. Those two things you can take to the bank for us. So
I've got to go see oh yeah, we talked about.
Yeah, we might go see that Monday, depending on how my time frames are going, because I got a lot to do to prepare, obviously. But
you don't have to cut your hair because it's already short.
Oh, it's way short. I got it cut.
I noticed.
Yeah. I have this is my pattern. I let it grow for like 6 weeks. I go back to the barber. I tell her, trim it down to a buzz cut, level number 3. She buzz cuts it to level number 3. I look bald for a couple of days. Then the hair starts to grow out. And when it gets big and tall again, I go back and do the same thing.
And
Very simple haircut.
This is coming from a guy, actually both of us, whose hair was either halfway down our backs or maybe even farther. We both had long.
When Josh was a little kid, he would take my hair. I had a mullet. Okay, I did. He would take my hair and he'd pull it into like a rope, and then he would hang on it, and I would walk, and I'd be carrying him by my, it wasn't a ponytail, but by the length of my hair. Anyway, that was a long time ago. All right, folks, we'll see you in a few weeks. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for watching. Do not forget, please, that Backseat Bowling Bag in the Backseat by the author R. Scott Bolton, who is your host here on the Backseat Mogul Show. Lots of backseat going on there. Is out Tuesday on Amazon, both in the paperback edition and the ebook edition. So get your Kindle warmed up and read a Bowling Bag in the Backseat. Let me know what you think about it, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Goodbye.
Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.